Whether you're a lifelong keeper or just getting started, help us encourage responsible keeping, conservation, and public education in the interest of keeping our reptiles safe and healthy as we protect them for future generations. You're invited to spend time with us as we experience these awesome animals together on Intrepid Exotics. Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another Saturday night. We've made it through yet another week somehow. Man. So I hope everybody really enjoyed last week's live stream. It was really cool to finally have Kevin on. Just brief back and forth, talk about snake stuff, but it was really cool to have him on. And especially looking at some of the stuff that he's got going on right now, which was really cool. Happy about that. And if everything goes to plan, we may actually be going to pick up a new reticulated python that presumably has a little bit of an attitude, and that may happen tomorrow. So, of course, schedules flexing and things like that, how they do typically most of the time. But we'll see. That may happen tomorrow. That may lead into some new content, of course. I'm still in the process of editing up. I'll probably finish that when we get done here tonight. Film some stuff with the Nile monitor and the Asian water monitor today. Both of them. And like I said, since it's kind of not very easy to demonstrate working with, the socialization and stuff like that with an animal that's already really socialized. You can't see getting past the negative reactions and stuff like that with an animal that's already happy. So this one is just kind of like a comparison between the Nile monitor and the Asian water monitor, because there was a bunch of questions came up about that the last live stream actually. Kind of asking what the differences were. So we dug a little bit deeper into that and showed handling both of them. So that one should get published tomorrow, I think. So I'm really going to have to make sure I avoid the food coma. I had to run down and get a new heat emitter tonight and stop by Burger King, and I should have known better than to do that before a live stream. So we're definitely going to need the coffee tonight. Let's see who all is on. Gerald is on. How are you, sir? My mother is here with her, and if you can see it in the picture there, her new puppy. Apparently that's the best behaved puppy on the planet. Brandon, how are you? Erica is here. Kelp is here. Judd. Laura, good to see you. Slow is here. Sam's with us. Tyler is in. Drowsy's Reptiles, hello, and thank you. I love the mug too. It's awesome, and I really need a real rattle on it because this is a fake one, but it still wiggles, so that counts to some degree. And I haven't seen Drowsy in here, so if I've missed you in the past, I'm sorry. If I haven't, welcome in. Good to see you. Oh, hey. Greg and Bet are both with us tonight. Greg is a friend of ours from Utah, out there probably still getting snowed on. Nicole, good to see you. Oh, chocolate chip cookies. I'll go nuts over some cookies. Hey, Pamela, good to see you. James, how am I doing? I am still busy all the time. Never stops. Like I said, we was playing with the monitor lizards today. Got some filming done down there with them. It was really cool. It's really cool to see Niles the way as he starts to get older. And I'll show you some video here in a little bit that I took that's going to be in the video tomorrow that I publish. But he's just, God, he is getting so interactive, and he seems more and more like he really enjoys the time that I come into his enclosure, which is cool. So, hey. Man, never like to hear about a bad day. But the good thing about if today was a bad day, today is over. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. Cop said, love last week with Kevin. Just watches his blood python video. Think they may be too spicy for you. No, bloods aren't bad. Like he was saying, I was actually watching that video on our way back from picking up that heat emitter and stuff. But yeah, I mean, those particular snakes were just kind of stressed out. They were under lights and exposed, and that's what they do. They fight a little bit, but they're not bad. Yeah. I remember chuckling a little bit when that one kind of popped him. Hey, Michael, good to see you, sir. Kevin, it's a nice mug. Thank you. Laura, good to see you. Greg Rippin, good evening. How are you doing? Oh, cool. And Drowsy says he catches them, but he's on the road, so yeah, glad you got a Saturday evening to kick back and listen to me bump my gums about whatever we're going to bump our gums about tonight. I think I put down in the description, I didn't know I did or not, something about talking about enclosure sizes. And I think there's a couple things that we can hit on later regarding enclosure sizes that I think might miss some people that really get Gestapo on enclosures. So I think there's a couple good things to talk about there that we can hit on tonight. Let's see. Laura's offering her sympathy for a bad day. Like I said, good thing about a bad day is it can only go up from there. Oh my God, 42 ounces of chocolate chip cookie dough. See, I'm still in the process too of trying to get rid of this gut. So it's kind of rough watching some of my videos from back in the summer, especially from somebody who spent all of my life in phenomenal shape and then finally decided to stop working out. I really need to stay away from the cookie dough. Mom says Niles is getting big. Yes, he is. It's amazing how heavy he is, man. He is a lot heavier than he looks. Messing around with him today, man. He is such a trip. Such a trip. Sam's asking how the ankle is. I can walk again. Big plus. I think I tweaked something a little bit worse than I may have thought because I've still got some issues with it. I've had sprained ankles all the time over my life, and they typically, once they go away, they're good. But this one has got some lingering ouch. So we'll see. Maybe it'll all go away. Who else we got? Hey, Fago, how you doing? Good to see you. Fago says hello to everybody. Everybody better say hello back. Let's see. Hey, Travis is in. And see, Judd feels my pain. All right. I think I made it all the way down to the end of the comments. Hey, Tara, you made it. Outstanding. All right. So to start with tonight, we've got some good news. We talked with a little text exchange with Jeremy earlier today. Just because I wanted to make sure I got all my ducks in a row before I start bumping my gums about USARK stuff. But I'm going to pull that up as we always do and look at some stuff. Like I said, we got some good news today, and I will point that out as we go. Dun, dun, dun. Can't see over my big ass rattlesnake coffee cup. All right, let's open this up. Share this, and there we go. Okay, get that out of the way. All right, so let's see what we got here. I don't even have it committed to memory yet, so I got to pull up the text. For those of you guys that don't know, I know a lot of you do already. Jeremy Turgeon, Brass Band Reptiles. He's the same fella that used to do operations for Kevin up at Nerd. He is down here in North Carolina. He is now officially in the employ of USARK. So North Carolina has our own official USARK person here, which is awesome. And so I talked with him a little bit right off the bat. The Arizona one right here, the Colorado one right here. Those two are both squashed. They're gone. They're done. They're off the blotter. So the warrantless animal seizure bill, that one's gone. The Colorado pet tax for all animals that they was talking about, where you're going to end up paying like $15,000 on your for a fish tank because it was going to tax you for every heartbeat that you had. That stupidity is gone. South Carolina is still going on, but like Jeremy said, this one right here is intended more for management of native species than it is for captive stuff. So that one, it's something to pay attention to, but it's not end of the world pay attention to type level. The Washington Animal Program ban, squashed, gone, done. And of course, I don't know what the latest is on Florida with the iguana bans. And apparently Phil Goss, the president of USARK, is down there right now working with Louisiana, trying to get some attention generated for it and so forth. He's collecting signatures for a petition. So if you guys are in Louisiana, yeah, I don't have any more information about where Phil is at, where he's collecting the signatures from, and things like that. One thing that you may want to do if you're in Louisiana and you're interested in getting involved in that, and again, I don't know how long, I don't know whether that was just today that he's going to be there, if he's going to be there longer or what. Jump on the USARK Facebook page and throw that question up there. Somebody may have an answer for you. And worst comes to worst, if there's a lot of people that really want to know, I'll shoot Phil a text and find out what his schedule is and where he's going to be at for people that can participate in that. If there's a lot of people asking. So, okay. So yeah, good news on the USARK front. For those of you guys that aren't members, you're welcome. All of us that are members help to get all of this stuff squashed. These three states, there we go, or 3 states. Funny, there's all different ways to do it, but those 3 states have been squashed, and I'm sure in no small part to USARK. So you can see that it works, and we need your help. So become a member. The least amount that you do on there is $40 a year. We can all do that. Easy money. Jump on, get it, participate when the alerts come out, and keep up with stuff. If you look at your overall reptile budget, I'm sure $40 is nothing compared to what you spend on filling the freezer and vet bills and everything else pertaining to our animals. So anyway, like I said, really good news on that. All right. Now, since I sat here talking forever, let's see if I missed anything. Nicole's wearing her USARK shirt. I need to get on and order another one myself. Tracy made it. Good evening. Good to see you. Kelly Duncan from Missouri. That profile picture there, it looks like Missouri. I was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for basic training. That kind of sucked. That was October through January in the Ozarks. We froze our butts off. Rocco, good to see you. I mean, every time I see that name, it just automatically a Sylvester Stallone accent pops into my head. So, Nicole says she shares what information she can in the reptile groups. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things Nicole's talking about, sharing info in reptile groups and like 5 people even recognize it. And then, other stuff that's completely meaningless blows up. That's the nature of the beast. That's why a lot of the bigger channels don't do a lot of USARK stuff. It doesn't get a lot of attention. People want to see the big animals and the wrestling and the bites and all that other stuff. So it's frustrating. I deal with the same thing on my channel, man. It's it's one of those things where unless you have a genuine interest in the topic and you're actually, watching it to learn something, the educational stuff and things like that just don't get a lot of attention. And it's nobody's fault. If you're not interested in it, you're not interested in it. But that just means that we all gotta stay that much more devoted to getting the important stuff out and stick with it. Oh no. Hey Lorraine. Said you had, oh man, Stimson's python disappeared, huh? Escapee, I take it. There's nothing worse. I hate that. Nothing worse than having an animal escape. I lost the only leopard gecko that I've ever hatched in my life, who was just a big, cool, interactive animal. I was in his enclosure one day, forgot to put the top back on it, and he ran away. And I never found him. And it kills me because he was such a cool lizard. There's a possibility he's still running around the house somewhere. I hope so. It'd be really cool to run across him one day. But, hey, James, good to see you. Excited to hear. Now, I'm not going to go into too many specifics on enclosure sizes. There's just a couple points to the enclosure size thing, man. It's a lot of it is so subjective. And there's so many different things that play into that. I just think there's a couple aspects that some people may not think about when talking about it. So, and I'm sure a lot of other people are going to have a lot of other thoughts on it too. So, recent show. Yeah, Judge was talking about. Yeah, you're starting to see a lot more of that. Some of the shows doing benefits for USARK, especially the bigger ones, man. The big shows raise a lot of money for USARK. It's really cool to see. All right, he said that he's been gone for a week, even looked inside the walls, and yeah, and they hide in the craziest places, man. Sometimes it's real easy for them to get away from you. Oh, let's see. And we got a lot of stories about stuff getting out. Tara said she had a bull snake that she found 3 weeks later. So yeah, I'm sure if there's anybody in here that has any ideas on finding a lost snake, they will certainly fill you in. I think I'm gonna get somebody out. Actually, let me do this first. Get this out of the way. You guys need to see what kind of craziness Niles was pulling today. He is such a trip. Through here, where you at, stud? Oh, we don't need the volume. Stop that. I got 3 monitors here, so I get to kind of juggle everything around and try and find stuff. Let's see here. I gotta put this up here because this guy is just so friggin' gregarious today. It's not even funny. Where's he at? There he is. Like that, and play this. So this was Niles today when we was filming. That tongue is going a freaking 100 miles an hour. He was just all over it. He was, I had across the room there, I had the quail in a tub, so I'm sure he was picking up on that, and he's looking all over the place for it. But you can see I'm still friggin' gun shy at his guy from 2 years ago when he bit me in the damn neck. He wants to come up there and crawl all over my shoulders, and one of these days I'm gonna relax and let him back up there, and I'll get over it. But I still really like the idea of having control, having enough control over him anyway, that if he decides to get a hold of my ear or my neck again, that thump. He's such a good boy. I guess while I got this stuff out too, I can pull up some of the where's it at? Some stuff for the little Asian water monitor too. What's that at? This poor guy, I haven't had as much time to work with him as I would like. So he's still a little bit timid first coming out. He comes around pretty quickly, but this is a friggin' adorable animal. Where are we at? Okay. Pause. There we go. There's another one. This crazy kid. This old guy is such a trip. Like I say, I haven't had quite as much time as I want to. I'm going to have to start really getting busy and getting him out and interacting with him, because he's such a good-natured little guy. And he's one that I don't worry about in the least. Let's see. Yeah, anyway, that was just some of the stuff that I recorded today to get that comparison done. Oh, let's see. Yeah, monitors are so much fun. Actually, too, talking about enclosure size, and I talk about this some in the video, Kevin is breeding some monitors, some Asian water monitors that are bred to be a little bit smaller. So there's that as well. You got the gloves coming tomorrow. I should wear gloves. You can see what my hands look like. And my arms aren't any better. This poor guy, I get friggin' ripped to pieces by these guys, man. I'm not go talking about not having time either. I couldn't imagine having all these animals back when I was in the military. I could not imagine. We was in the field training so often and for such long periods of time. So. Hey, Sack. Appreciate it. Don't forget to show some love and hit the like button. You guys aren't subscribed to the channel already, too. Jump on. We're getting close to our 10,000 mark. It's been really slow because I've been kind of slow getting content out. My last one was like beginning of last week. So still getting one out every week, but it was tough this past week. So. Yep. friendly one lizard wrecking crew. That is a fact. Is they have absolutely no hesitation about anywhere. If they want to go there, they're going to go there. And if it knocks everything off of everything that they're getting on, they're going to do it. Not to mention the claws. Yeah. And Tracy was saying that these black dragons, yeah, they do stay pretty reasonably sized. Yeah, see, it's worth it. I mean, if you're not a devoted reptile keeper, then I mean, you've got to at least be able to be willing to sacrifice a digit every now and then to our animals, you know. See, Kelv's asking best monitor for an ambassador animal or educational program. Been researching a ton. I'm curious what other opinions have worked with them for a while. My favorite ambassador animal for our educational programs is the one albino Asian water monitor that Aubrey brought out. Asian water monitors are awesome because they can be so trustworthy. Their temperament can be so cool and so chill that I mean, those things make excellent ambassadors. I mean, they're the closest thing most people are ever going to get to being able to interact with a Komodo dragon, you know. And if you've got a big Asian water monitor too, there's a huge wow factor there because people just don't see animals that big, and then for them to be that friendly and interactive and all that stuff. Asian water monitors are great ambassador animals. And you know, I mean, those are great. Large tortoises are great ambassador animals. Those are always, every time they bring some of the big tortoises out, those are always a hit. People love interacting with those. Of course, the giant snakes. And, you know, the snakes are a little bit different because, you know, tortoises are naturally pretty chill. Asian water monitors, naturally pretty chill. Big snakes, they can be really chill. They can be temperamental when you're taking them out into places like that. So, although they can be awesome, it depends 100% on the handler and how that snake's been raised and how desensitized they are to contact and stuff like that. What else? I mean, you get some big frogs like Pac-Man frogs and stuff like that are always great. People get a kick out of seeing them. Yeah, of course, ball pythons are easy, but yeah, if I had to put, I don't know, it as much as I love my big snakes, I really think that like the best ambassador animal is between the monitor lizard and the big tortoises, because those are the ones that really get a lot of attention. Big snakes do too, but not quite as much. Oh, talking about the enclosure I built for Niles. Yeah, I cannot wait until I can get some more of those enclosures built, uh, so I can start housing some more monitors down there. I don't know if you saw too the door that I put on there that folds down and seals him off, so that I've got that other area as like a play area for them. Uh, J Mac, how are you doing? How many hours a week do I put into my pets? Not enough. Um, Man, it's really hard to say. Um, I mean, snakes are pretty easy. I've got, um, depending on what day it is and how far I am from a cleaning day or a feeding day or something like that, I've at least got 30 minutes a day, you know, between checking on everybody, making sure everybody's good. I'll take I make a habit of taking some animal out and trying to rotate that around so that everybody gets a little bit of handling in and stuff like that. So there's a few hours during the week. On the weekends, it varies, depending on what's going on. Some days I'll spend 3-4 hours down there, taking animals out, cleaning enclosures, just interacting with them. If I go down and I like see one of my big snakes that's roaming around a lot, go in, open the door, let them come out. And it's really cool now too, because again, I can close Niles' enclosure and close him off on the backside and have that whole space right there where I can just let the big snakes out, put them in there, let them stretch out. They've got a little bit more room to move and stuff. And which again is going to tie into the enclosure conversation, because when I put them into that big space, they roam around for 15 minutes and then they curl up somewhere, and that's where they sit. And they may get up and roam around again for a little while, and then they curl up someplace, and that's where they sit. So yeah, I don't know, man. It varies, but I probably average about 10 hours a week total, everything I do with the animals. Sometimes more, sometimes less, like I said, but the only reason why my Niles claws are a little bit friendlier now is because he's bigger. That Asian water monitor that I got here is still so young. It's just kind of like puppy teeth, except he's got puppy claws, puppy lizard claws. Yeah, it's another good one too. Greg was talking about his big male tegu. Those things can be really cool, and they can make really great ambassadors too. Oh, cool. He's talking about target training is boa. That's awesome. Yeah, these guys are really smart, man. There's no second guessing how smart these animals are. So. Yeah, Alex is asking what makes an Asian water monitor so trustworthy is they are just really relaxed. They're really relaxed and they get comfortable real easy, and they don't they're just not near as reactive as some of the other ones. I'm gonna scroll through here, make sure I'm not missing too much. Yep. Tracy nailed it. Yeah, Greg makes a good point here. Talking about ambassador animals with any animal, it's more the handler than the specific species. There's a lot to be said for that. A human being can spoil a good animal quickly. And a human being can also make a good animal comfortable and keep them that way and make them real easy to work with. So, yeah, Eric was talking about having a harder time keeping amphibians. Yeah, they do. They do have to have their environment controlled. Oh yeah, Kevin's got some awesome animals up there. That's why it's so cool to have one of his water monitors here. So. Yeah. We're at, I'm going to try not to miss too many of these before we move forward. Tell you what. Oh, Tara, super chat. Thank you so much. Just getting ready to start a Tegu enclosure build for a female black and white. Recommended 8x4x4, but can I get away with a 6.5 by 2.5 by 2.5? Especially since I plan on getting her out. Let's see. Yeah, females. I mean, a female you can, especially if you're getting out and interacting and stuff like that. With a 6.5 by 2.5 by 2.5, you'll be able to keep her in there. That's what I had my female in, and there was times, and the way I had it set up kind of forced her to move around. I kept the water bowl down the bottom corner. I had her basking platform, of course, up top, and that's where I'd feed it up top. And I mean, she would get up enough to bask, and she'd spend most of her time buried. You know, tegus are burrowers, and they love to just get down there and get themselves covered up in dirt and stay there. Just like any of the rest of my animals, when we see them being more active, that's when we should be interacting with them. That's when they want to interact with us. Most of the rest of the time, they're just going to be chilling. And they don't have to hunt. So, I mean, their only real concern is regulating their body temperature. And some are just more interactive than others. Some are more curious. Some are more or less active, and so forth. But yeah, you should be fine with that. Especially if you're taking them out and working with them and stuff like that. That's plenty of room for a female. Oh, Courtney made it. Good to see ya. Tyler talking about he's got a Pac-Man frog that he swears has one brain cell. Yeah, we had a Pac-Man frog too, and we're right there with you. Pac-Man frogs are freaking hilarious. It's like it's nothing but a slimy mouth that will put anything in it. So they're a lot of fun. Ha! I think I made it to the end. Just about. Sweet. Okay. Let me go ahead and bring a snake out because I need to, because she doesn't get out much. Hey, sweetie. You want to wake up for me again? Hmm? You want to wake up for me again? You want to come out? Hmm? Come out, sweetness. Don't be difficult. You are not athletic enough to be difficult, sweetheart. Been trying to get this girl out more and more frequently. I'm really curious to see if a little bit more activity and stuff like that will help to help her get a little bit better control of herself and so forth. Because this is the Jag Pondro. This is the one that's got the neuro issues from the Jag gene. And she's doing really good right now. Had her out a few times the last couple days, and she's done really well. Yeah, I know. You see all the lights. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on you. There we go. And silver eyes. An amazing girl, or what? Come on, focus. There you go. There. And she was even nice enough to. Up there she goes again. Come on. And one thing about this particular gene is especially on arboreal snakes, they're so clingy and strong, and they're always hanging on to something, they're always grasping on. And you'll see when she starts to get uneasy and starts moving around, when she moves the front half of her body, the back half of it just kind of falls. And I know you can't really see all too well, of course, because it's falling behind my back, but she can still move it. She's got some control over it, but the muscle tone's just not there. So it makes it tough on her. Get that right, girl. She's still a sweet snake, though. Such a sweet girl, ain't you? See, you can just chill. Yeah, it's a really unique animal. Ain't you? And actually, this brings me to a question that somebody from Patreon had shot at me earlier today about talking about Lori Torini, and she linked me a video where she was talking about having enclosures that are set up especially for special needs snakes, and this is what would be classified as a special needs snake. And oddly enough, as I was watching that video, she has got a jaguar carpet too that looks really similar to Lilith here. That just happens to have just about the same problem. So she was talking about just making sure that things are, minimized just enough so that the snakes aren't in a position where they can hurt themselves. So you were so chill earlier today. Now all of a sudden you want to just run all over the place. What's up with that? Yeah, she was so mellow earlier. Of course, it's getting to be nighttime now, so she's come on, crazy. Of course, tomorrow's feeding day too. So, rat. Get through. Species of snake is the most trustworthy to work with? I don't know. Whichever one you work with properly. All of my snakes, I trust them implicitly. Even Bob now, even the Sri Lankan, I'll go ahead and take him out too. When I get him out, he's trustworthy to work with too. It's not about species. It's all about how you work with them. Like I said, a good keeper can make a good snake. A bad keeper is going to make a bad snake, and that applies to every species. So. Oh yeah, this is definitely a really unique girl right here. And it is a very boopable snoot. You're gonna boop. Boop. Is that a good girl? No, I've had her. God, I've had her a couple months now, something like that. This animal actually came. It started with a person, I want to say, who was in Texas, who kept a lot of really unique snakes. And our friend Dax out of D&T Retics in Texas took responsibility for her collection after I don't think she has passed, but she wasn't doing well. She had to rehome her animals. So um, so some of those animals got distributed out to some folks in our circle. Um, I know Cody, I think our friend Cody got I think a Boland's from out there. I'm taking this girl in, and there's a couple more I think, but I don't know exactly where they went and whatnot. But this is one of those cases where it was a animal that needed a home, and she was found a home, and now she's here with us. And she can be our example of both a hybrid and a problem gene um, that causes a little bit of a problem for the snakes. So it works out really well. And on top of that, she's a gorgeous, freaking amazing animal. So I remember when I went over to Aubrey's place and he first lifted up the lid on this thing, I was like, freaking amazing animal there, man. Yeah, I'm guessing you're talking about the Tegu there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think a smaller female Tegu is really going to utilize an 8x4x4. They may, but I mean, like I said, I mean they're going to utilize it at times. Let me put it that way. Um, but I mean that's the kind of enclosure that I would put them in if I was never going to take them out, if they was never going to get any exercise or leave the enclosure. Um, yeah, then something like that, sure. Um, like I said, man, so often they're staying in one spot. They're sedentary a lot. Most of the time, they're not going to utilize that stuff. Hmm. Yeah, it'd be really cool to see Clint's Tegu cage. Hmm. Yeah, carpets are pretty cool. My jungle carpet downstairs is a lot of fun too. Um, Possibly Laura had asked if designing like a specific exercise tent for her would help her get more control. It may, and it may be a good idea to try. Um, I've thought about trying to put down in Niles enclosure where I've got that closed off where I could put the animals in and so forth. I've been wanting to see about building some other stuff in there that gives a little bit more climbing opportunities for the snakes. And that may be an option too, to put her in there for a little while and just let her start climbing. But I'm really going to be careful with that because if she does indeed really lack the ability to hang on a whole lot with the back part of her body, then she could end up hurting herself. You're ready to tuck in there and relax. You just want to go back home. That's all you want to do. It's a good girl. You just want to go back home and be left alone, don't you? It's okay. It's okay. You just relax. There you go. That's what I always go for is to get them to lay their head down on my hand like that. They can be really sensitive to and be really sensitive to hair, believe it or not. When they're coming around and like tracing down your arm or something like that, man, as soon as they hit the top of them hairs, they just will pop right off of you. So see? Come on. You're good. You're good. Oh, there you go. There you go. You can see how she's got those jerky responses where it's like she jerks and overcorrects and kind of wobbles back and forth. So let's go ahead and let you go back home. Get some peace. Come on, sweetness. Get in there. Where'd you go, bud? I know you're in there. Oh, hello. Come on, big boy. Come on, Stelly. Don't bite me in the face. I know, boy. Come on. Come on. I know you don't want to go play. Bob is really kind of mad at me because he was buried in the his substrate. And I went in and got him out, so it's probably going to take him a minute to get unmad. Oh, stop it. It's not going to kill you to come out here and socialize again for a little while, you little goofball. Is it? Let's see if we can get the camera to focus on him first. There we go. See, you're just not cooperating like your girl upstairs was. What you? Everybody wants to see your mug, bud. What are you doing? And see, this is what I talk about too. I was talking about, what species of snake can you trust? Which ones can you not? If you'd seen this guy when I first got him, yes, you. Yeah, I wouldn't let him anywhere near my face. See, you're okay. Good boy. Excuse me. Yeah, this is a pretty trustworthy animal now. He's huffy, and he's letting me know that he doesn't really want to be messed with, and he wants to go back home. But all in all, he's doing really good. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm sitting here petting his cheek. Not really his cheek, it's that huge friggin' pit bull ball of muscle that he's got behind his eyes back there. So this guy is such a stud. I can't wait to see that head when he gets bigger. Get my eyes out of here and get there. We go. Yeah, I don't know how much of that you can see. A friggin' bulldog head of his. Damn, feels like I inhaled a feather. But yeah, I can't wait until he's mature and just see that monstrous head. But this was one of the most terrified animals that I'd ever had not long ago. Is that right? You was scared of everything and you just wanted to fight. Ain't that right? You just wanted to fight everybody. You didn't care who it was. But he's better now. I know. Here, get up here. Warm your butt up a little bit. How's that sound? Get cozy. What are you doing? Yeah, see, he's got his little adolescent thing going on too. He's not scared anymore. He just wants to do things his way and doesn't want to be told anything different. Let's see. So he's talking about that. I know I missed a whole bunch of comments here, so I'm just kind of going down through here. And, oh, that's awesome. Nicole said somebody driving down Main Street shooting Roman candles out the window. We used to have wars with those around 4th of July. We'd all get a whole pocket full of them things and shoot them at each other. Yep, Tyler has a good point. Talking about your energy has a lot to do with how the snake's going to act. I don't know, man. You can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it as the animal's sense when you're scared. I think it's just that if you're afraid of your animal, then you can't do things the right way and keep them supported and stuff like that in the right way. So that's what makes them uncomfortable. But it's either way, it's a self-perpetuating cycle. One of you has got to begin to trust the other one first. And since human beings are supposed to be the smarter, we're not always, but most of the time we're supposed to be smarter than these guys. We got to be the ones to take the first step. Right? Like just snatching you out of the enclosure and letting you bite us 50 times. Big damn meanie. About needed a blood transfusion from you the first few times I handled you. Yeah, you can see that. Once he realizes he's out and his nap time's over for a minute, all that huffing and puffing stops, and he's back up to speed. The cool thing about it is with this guy is he hasn't struck at me in a long time getting him out of the enclosure. Even if it takes me longer than I'd like it to, or if I'm waving my hand in front of his face, it doesn't matter. He's all but stopped striking completely. And then again, too, he started eating really well, too. So this is a really intelligent animal. I mean, he doesn't have any problem differentiating a person from food at all. You got right. You're smart as hell. You just want to run things. Okay, I gotta get to the mouse at some point, so let's figure this out. Crazy. There. What are you doing? What are you doing, crazy snake? If you're talking about this one's a male. The Sri Lankan here, this is a male. How old is he? I'm not sure. I'm gonna say a couple years. I don't know, man. When's your birthday? Tell me you know when your birthday is, because if you can tell me, then I can tell everybody else. You're just not gonna work with me at all, are you? Crazy animal. Yeah, he's a couple years. He's got a lot of growing to do yet. Of course, the last time he did bite me, it was in the face and it was on a live stream. So who knows? Maybe we'll get to do this again. But I doubt it. He seems pretty cool. Oh yeah, Bolin's python that he had out. Yeah, that's his pet project. Gorgeous animal. That's what we was talking about on the live stream, with them being cannibalistic, which kind of complicates the breeding process a little bit. So. Yeah, those animals don't come cheap. That's faux show. Of course, I mean, I understand they're expensive. I've not priced them. I don't know how much they're selling for, but okay, let's see. What are you doing? This snake is so friggin' entertaining, man. Such a nutcase. All right. See a bunch of conversations about the Bolins. There's just Bob. It's Bob. Bob's friggin' world famous. And Bob is always being mouthy. This snake is always making a bunch of noise. So. Let's see. Yeah, Fago's talking about the structure of their heads. I love it, man. The way I'm going to go ahead and get Athena out in a minute. I know I've done this before. Put them out there, showing the difference between the Burms and the Sri Lankans, but both of these guys are awesome freaking animals. So, let's see. God, I got way far behind here. How did that happen? Yeah, I've been talking a lot. That's good. Oh, yeah, these guys are doing great. Absolutely great. Cool. All right, I'm all caught up on those comments now. You know what? Chloe's been so good in there. I'm gonna go get Athena out first, and then I'll go get Chloe. Chloe's a freaking brat. You can let go of me any day now. No. Is it possible that you want to come out again? Are you coming? Or what? Hello? I'm going to make me come in and get you. Come on. Okay. So here's the Burmese, and I'm sure you guys can already see a slight difference in the pattern. Sri Lankan's pattern is a little bit darker. But for those of you who may not really know the difference offhand, we can get the camera to focus on her head now. You can see there's none of that pink coloration, and she doesn't have them big hog jaws like Bob has got. She's got a lot more arrowish. First of all, she's a lot more shitheaded-ish for not wanting to just look at the camera like Bob did. There we go. Come on. Turn the other way. Turn this way. Turn this way. There you go. Yeah. See, she's got a lot more sleek head to her. And a little trick you can do on your snakes too. I don't know if you guys caught that. You can always replay it later. But most of the time, if you push over here, they're going to turn towards where you put. Have you learned to speak English and you did that just to freaking make a liar out of me? What you'll notice a lot of times is if you try and push your snake one way, they're going to push towards your hand. So it's a little trick you can use sometimes when you're trying to move them. You push over here. See how she's starting to go that way? Let's see if this will start to make sense. I'll push over here. Come on. Are you going to push against my hand again? You start to go back the other way. So it's one of those things. It's kind of subtle. It doesn't always work all the time. But it can be kind of one of those useful little things. It's kind of counterintuitive, but because most people, they want their snake to go this way, they'll push them that way. But when they push them that way, of course, their head wants to go and oppose whatever force is on them. So if you push them the opposite way you want them to go, then the bullheaded little buggers will end up going where you want them to. Okay, right. How come you ain't chasing down the crickets? I'm sure everybody can hear the crickets in here. Let's see. Yeah, talking about, one good thing about a berm though is they're pretty slow growing. They're not gonna turn into giants overnight like retics will. I want to say this girl is 3 years old. I could be wrong, but yeah, the crickets are serenading me. They're my mood music. So, you want to go back, give Chloe some screen time? I know everybody loves to see Chloe. Okay. This girl right here and Chloe are the two. When they get really big, they're going to be the most awesome ambassador animals because both of these guys thrive on attention like you would not believe. If I go out here, if I'm looking out the window or something like that, anytime I get close to her enclosure, her head is right there looking at me, and she will come out 100% of the time and just want to roam around and mess around and do stuff. What are you doing? Just being a goofball. Come on. You gonna sneak in there? Look at that. It's almost like you're trained. I need to go get your cousin. So, butt in there. She's looking at me like, how rude. You just slammed me back in there? Oh, somebody's up top tonight. Hey, you. Hey. Hey. Want to come out? You want to come hang out? You want to come hang out, little girl? No, you back there sleeping. Yeah, it's a good girl. I got you. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. And I forgot. Tap train your snakes, use your hooks, or you'll get bit. Okay. Nah, she wasn't in her water bowl again. She was actually up top this time. And she's been out a lot too. And she's been spending a lot of time climbing her branches and stuff in her enclosure. What are you doing? Why have you got to squeeze everything all at the same time? What are you doing, crazy girl? Let go of something already. Well, I want to get down and scroll comments, but this little friggin' monkey is not going to let me go. There. Crazy snake. She's silly. So. Yeah, she's been out all day. That's one thing about the snakes up here, man. They all get a ton of interaction. What are you doing? You want to check everybody out up there? All right, let me go. Now she decided she wanted to go full retic. There's a Robert Downey Jr. line in there somewhere. You're never supposed to go full retic. There you go. Would you chill out for a second long enough for the camera to get you? Yeah, pretty little yellow head of yours. Yeah, exactly, man. You only go part retic. You never go full retic. But no, man, I know we actually had talked earlier about would you stop? I mean, talked earlier about enclosure sizes and stuff. And you know, you'll find that a lot of times with folks, I mean, you see this too. I mean, a really good example of this is like when I get moved, I want to get some bigger enclosures for my retics. But the a good example of that is Karma, the retic that's up at Garrett's place. It's a 20-foot snake. It's a 12 by, I want to say it's like a 12 by 5 by 6. Maybe a 12 by 4 by 6. It's kind of hard to say. I don't really remember exactly last time I was in there. But such a large, huge percentage of the time, yeah, that animal's curled up in a corner, not moving. You know, in the wild, I mean, there's 2 times that a snake is really active. Well, 3 times that a snake is really active. They're either evading predators, they're being a predator and trying to eat, or they're trying to regulate their body temperature. And if they're not doing any one of those things, technically, you know, in order, you know, for in the sake of survival, they're keeping a low profile. They're low key. They're burrowed up someplace, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. And you'll rarely ever see them utilize all of that space. That's not to mean that they don't need exercise, things like that, because they most certainly do. But you can't look at snakes in the same way as you look at mammals, because you know mammals have got a high enough metabolism where they are going to be active every day looking for something to eat. Snakes don't have that problem. You know, being exothermic, you know, they regulate their metabolism simply by heat and not needing to burn a whole lot of food, you know. So you can't really look at them through the same glass that you would a mammal, thinking, well, a mammal needs this much room to be happy. So a reptile needs this much room to be happy. For my snakes, right now, until I'm in a position where I'm going to be able to improve their enclosures, they're in 8-foot enclosures. In that enclosure, they've got hot spot and they've got a cooled side that's got a big enough water receptacle for them to get into and soak. When I see them start to move around and start to get energetic, then I can take them out of the enclosure. I can let them roam around. I can let them do, whatever they want to. Now, again, with that section of Nile's enclosure being open like that, I can put them in there. And even still, even with all that space, even after coming out of the 8-foot enclosure, looking like they want to do something, I'll take them out. I'll put them in that play area, so to speak. 15 minutes, 30 minutes tops, they're done. They're curled up in a corner, and I've got to go out there and lift them out of a coil and put them back in their house because they're done running around. So, and, although having things from the climb and all that stuff is important too, I don't know. I guess the only reason why I really brought that up is because it's real easy to anthropomorphize enclosures, confuse what an animal needs and what an animal recognizes with what a human needs and what a human recognizes. People will do things because they look more attractive, or they're more decorative, when in fact it may have zero actual added benefit for the snake. And the thing is that enclosure may look 100 times better than another enclosure that looks drab and empty. But maybe that enclosure that's drab and empty, the snake is actually more comfortable in. And they've actually got more room to move around in, because you'll see sometimes, people will try and put so much stuff in there and overkill that there's no more room for the animal. It's all decoration and it looks awesome. Looks amazing. Maybe take that snake out of it and put a damn poison dart frog in there and it'll be appropriate. So it's kind of a trade-off, and I don't know. I just, with stuff like that, I really caution people on going overboard on enclosures, because it is kind of subjective. And just like anything else, there's objective lines that we can draw on what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, what's good, what's bad, what's clean, what's dirty, stuff like that. So there are lines, but as a general rule, snakes don't need a whole lot to be happy. You see this little girl right here, as active as she is, and she's got room to climb around in there now and stuff like that. But mark my words, as she grows up, as she gets more weight on her, she's not going to be climbing around as much as she is now. Those bigger snakes, they tend to get a little bit more lethargic, and it takes more energy to move that body. So I mean, that was just one of those things. And I actually had what ended up to be a pretty pleasant exchange on a channel here. Somebody talking about the enclosure sizes and stuff like that, and had a brief version of this conversation. So that's kind of one of those things. And I know I just kind of want to caution people to the fact that we've got to make sure that we're not crossing the line when we're criticizing people, and maybe holding them to unreasonable standards and things like that. Because we'll see that sometimes, especially with the newer keepers. They come on and they put their enclosure up there and stuff like that, or maybe somebody that just got an animal that's in a temporary enclosure or something, and we'll see them get ripped to pieces over it. And it really is, anytime that we try and help somebody or mention something about something they could be doing better, always try and do it in the best possible light. It is much better to say something politely and have that conversation go in a positive way, than it is to snap and have it go negatively when it doesn't need to. You know, it's real easy for people, for everybody, for myself included. There's times where I see things sometimes and my first reaction is to just go, dude, come on, really? But, you know, you try and temper it and you try and keep everything in a positive light. Enclosure sizes in a lot of ways is a subjective discussion, especially with snakes. You're going to hear both sides of it. And like I said, my technique for it, and my technique isn't the only one. There's a lot of other ones that are good. But what I do right now with the space that I have is I just pay particular attention to what their behavior is. And like I said, if my 16-foot retic is down there pushing, I'm going to open the door. You know, the snake's going to come out. We're going to interact. I'm going to do something with her. I'm going to help her burn off that energy, and then she'll go back in and she'll be fine. You know, like I said, it's not uncommon for your snake to sit in one spot and ignore the world for a week at a time. So it doesn't take a whole lot of space to sit in one spot and ignore the world for a week at a time. So we got to kind of keep that stuff in mind when we're talking about them. What are you doing? Wrapping up my chair. So that was like the bulk of what I was going to mention on the enclosure stuff. Yeah. It's just like anything else, man. We need to, you know, the community as a whole, really, if you look at it, is really starting to get a lot more positive than it was, which is really cool. It really makes me happy to see that. I'm seeing a lot more people kind of putting the brakes on people when they're being rude. God, this freaking noodle is crazy. But so I mean, that's really good to see, and I think it's going to continue to get better. So you go. Hurry up. Now, I know, again, I missed a whole lot of friggin' things here, but I'm going to go ahead and roll back down to the end. Yeah, Reddit can get you in trouble. There's a lot of places that I come really close to blowing up that I've got to stop myself. Let's see. All right, guys, go ahead and shoot me with any last minute questions you may have, or you know, suggestions for videos that you may want to see coming up. I am going to let's see. I know tomorrow I'll finish up the editing. All I've really got to do on this thing is do a couple cutscenes and add some B-roll on it, and we're good to go. So that video will be coming out tomorrow. Make sure you catch that one. And again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, get on there. We're at 8,912 or 13 or something like that. Brandon says it's not too late to get Tigger out. It kind of is, because I haven't had time to prep a tub here to put him in, so I'd have to just go pick him up and bring him up here and sit down with him, and he'd rip this freaking room to pieces. A 16-foot snake in a small space like this, everything's coming down. So, but I do got to get the bigger snakes out. I need to start doing some of these live streams. You know, once the summer gets here, I'll see about maybe that'll be a good project over the next couple weeks. Because of course we're short on projects and things to do. But that may be something that I look at too, is maybe setting this up so that we can do the live streams outdoors, have the big snakes out there, stuff like that, and that'd be a lot of fun. And of course, whenever we get moved, have more actual studio space, then that'll be great too. So let's see. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Erica was talking about, and this is the same way I heard it when I first started keeping too, is that the depth and the width of your enclosure should be equal to or greater than the length of the snake. So they can start with their tail in the back corner, come up front, across the front of the enclosure to the other corner, and be able to stretch out all the way like that. So that's reasonable. That's a pretty reasonable size. The bigger the snake is, the bigger that enclosure ends up becoming too. So, and sometimes that's overkill in some cases, but like I said, man, everything's kind of subjective. Depends on the species. Depends on what are you doing. Now you're just acting like a freaking child. Would you stay still? Stay still, crazy girl. Yeah, see, these are the big, scary, reticulated python. Would you stop? I'm trying to show something. See, this is the kind of stuff when you get them young and you get them to the point where just touching them in the head, nothing really affects them. This is how you make ambassador animals. Because if for some reason some little kid was to come up and try and pet him on the head, pet her on the head, you can tell right now she's not going to bite anybody. Oh my God. I'm going to have to put you back because handling you is just here. Hang out there for a second. Stay away from the ceiling fan. What you doing? Oh, stop looking at the ceiling fan. Somebody had a question. Why retics grow faster than berms? I have no idea. They just do. Genetics. Oh, are you done now? Yeah, and Drowsy talking about you're hoping your Tokay Tom calms down. Awesome. I hope your Tokay calms down too. However, I no longer have Tokays. I had two of them. I kind of wish I would have kept them now, but when I thinned out the collection to make it more manageable, the Tokays were one species that went. My green iguana went. My Sudan-plated lizard, which I really wish I would have kept now, but I didn't. He was adopted out. My mangrove monitor. I'm sure there's a couple more. I adopted out several ball pythons and stuff when I was thinning the herd down. But yeah, my Tokays really hated me. Really badly hated me. I see Jed was asking about could it be local predators? Could be. It's hard to say. I don't know if there's. I mean, some animals grow at different rates, and I have no idea why it is. They're both pythons. India, Indonesia, similar areas and so forth. So I'm not sure what it is about the growth rate on them. But all I know is that my retics seem to grow much faster than my berms do. Where are you going? I can't just pull on her because I don't know if she's wrapped in, stuck on something. This snake. Are you enjoying yourself? You can let go. Oh my God. You're insane. God. I tell you, man, this little girl right here is strong too. For as small as she is, she's got a grip. Don't ya? I'm gonna let you go home and crawl around because you're just being a pain in the butt now. That's all you're doing. There you go. Nope. If you don't want to cooperate, go up here. There. Oh man. I tell you, that's something that I really appreciate about these animals in here is they just God, are so freaking interactive and social and always wanting to do something. Even Bob, he tries to hide it, but I'll see every now and then when I walk over by them enclosures, he'll sit there and that little tongue will just start going nuts and he'll poke his head up. He acts like he wants to be mad, but let's see. Let's see. All right. I don't see a whole lot that I may have missed. So, on that note, I am going to go and continue editing this video for tomorrow and probably grab me a glass of chocolate milk and get ready to call it a night. So, again, guys, I appreciate you hanging out. It was good to see everybody. Keep an eye out. I'll publish that video about Niles and the Asian Water Monitor tomorrow. Make sure getting folks on that, get the views up and all that neat stuff. And don't forget, throw it down in the comments and stuff like that if you got other things that you want to see. But hey, it was really good seeing everybody again. And I am out of here, and we will do this again next Saturday at 8, if not sooner. You guys have an awesome night. I'll see you later.